Imagine sitting at a listing appointment to sell your home with an agent and hearing this from the agent. I have a marketing strategy that will probably sell your home for $30,000 less than it's worth. You would walk them straight to the door. But a version of that strategy is now being recommended by some of the largest brokerages in the country, including here in Marin County real estate. They just call it something else, private exclusives, or even a different kind of coming soon. So before you sign a listing agreement with anyone in this market, watch this video first. So let's get to it. Let's start with the terminology because sellers hear these phrases constantly and they rarely get a clear explanation of what they actually mean. Coming soon. A coming soon listing means your home is being marketed before it hits the MLS. You know, before it hits the shared database that feeds Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, and every other platform that buyers actually use. Now, here's where this gets confusing. Because in Marin County, we do have a coming soon system as part of our MLS, and it works really well. Your home can be entered into the MLS, visible to every agent without accumulating days on market while you finish preparing it. That gives you flexibility without limiting your exposure. What some of these brokerages are doing is very different. Instead of putting the home as a coming soon on the MLS where every agent can see it, they keep it outside the MLS. They still call it a coming soon though, and they might also display it on a platform like Redfin. So yes, technically, someone could find it there. But agents don't run their business off of Redfin. They run it off the MLS. When your home isn't in that system, it isn't being pushed out to every agent and every buyer at the same time. You're relying on people to go look for it instead. That's a very different level of exposure. Private exclusives. A private exclusive means your home is only shown to buyers working with agents inside one specific brokerage. If you list with a Compass agent and your home is marked private exclusive, only Compass agents and their clients see it. Every buyer working with every other brokerage in Marin County and beyond is completely locked out. These private exclusives are the most extreme version of cutting exposure. Your home stays entirely within your agent's internal office network. The broader Marin housing market never sees it at all. Of course, Compass just bought Anywhere, and so maybe more of those agents are seeing the private exclusives now. That's unclear, but it's still not covering everyone. So the pitch behind all of these is really similar. Privacy, exclusivity, testing the market before going public. The question is whether any of that actually benefits you, the seller, when the transaction is done. The data on that is very consistent. Data on private exclusives. New research from Zillow looked at home sellers who bypassed the MLS and found that in 2023 and 2024 alone, those sellers collectively left more than $1 billion on the table nationally. In California, the average seller who went off market walked away with approximately $30,000 less than a comparable seller who listed publicly. Put that into context. On a $1 million home, that's roughly the size of your entire commission. In other words, the cost of selling off market can equal what you're paying your agent. The San Francisco data is even more dramatic. A study from the San Francisco Association of Realtors found that homes listed on the MLS sold for approximately $300,000 more dollars than the average off-market MLS sale. About 18% different. A multi-state analysis of over 800,000 sales found that MLS listed homes sold for about 13% more on average and nearly 20% more during peak spring months. And it's not just price. A Bright MLS report found that standard MLS listings went under contract in about 20 days, but listings that started as private exclusives took about 37 days. That's twice as much. Less exposure, less competition, less money, and more time. That is the real pattern. What this means for anyone thinking about selling a home in Marin is pretty darn straightforward. Exposure drives competition. Competition drives price. And that is true at every price point, including luxury, where the data specifically shows that buyers do not pay a premium for exclusivity. For buyers, the takeaway is just as important. If your agent is only showing you homes within one brokerage's network, you're seeing just a fraction of what's actually available. The best opportunities in Marin are on the MLS, where every qualified buyer is competing. So what's actually happening behind the scenes when an agent recommends an off-market strategy? Financial incentives for private exclusives. There is a financial incentive built into how these transactions work. When your home is kept inside one brokerage's network, the chances increase that the buyer also comes from that same brokerage. When that happens, the brokerage is involved on both sides of the transaction. That's right, 2 commissions. Now, that doesn't automatically mean anything improper is happening, but it does create a situation where the brokerage benefits more if your home sells internally than if it's exposed to the entire market. And that's where the conflict comes in, because as a seller, your goal is simple. You want to get the highest price that the market will pay. But the brokerage's incentive in that structure can be to keep the transaction inside their network, even if that means fewer buyers are competing for your home and that you get less money. Less competition can mean a lower price, and that isn't theoretical. That's exactly what the data is showing. So the question isn't whether dual representation is allowed, it is allowed. The question is whether the strategy being recommended to you is designed to maximize your price or to maximize control of the transaction and the brokerage's price. And those are not always the same thing. And yet, the push toward these models is accelerating. Even though the data doesn't support the outcome that sellers are being promised, 63% of recent sellers reported that their agent recommended using a private listing network. That's up significantly from just a few years ago. And there is one legitimate reason to consider an off-market approach, and that's privacy. If you are a high-profile individual dealing with a sensitive situation, or you simply can't have open houses or any public showings, well, that's real. But by the way, lots of brokerages can help you with that. At eXp, we have a private portal for these legitimate private listings, and it's shown to 80,000 agents. But for most sellers, the math isn't even close. Before you sign any listing agreement, here are a few questions worth asking. Will my home be listed on the MLS and appear across all major platforms? If the answer is anything other than yes, ask exactly why not. Do you receive any additional benefit if a buyer from your own brokerage purchases my home? That might not be financial, by the way. It might just be kudos because it's the brokerage that benefits the most. Can you show me the actual data comparing off-market and on-market sales in my area? And most importantly, is this recommendation in my best interest, or does it benefit your brokerage? Every home I list goes on the MLS. Every buyer in Marin County real estate gets the opportunity to see it and compete for it. Not because it sounds good, but because the data is very clear. Competition drives price, and the MLS creates competition. Oh, and by the way, I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor, 30-year Marin veteran, and someone who actually runs the numbers on this market every single month. In fact, I do a little newsletter which shows you exactly which homes sold the prior month and if they went for more than list price or under, and I do all the math on that. This is something nobody else does. If you'd like a copy, the link is in the description. And if you want more information about buying or selling or anything about Marin County, there should be some videos showing about now. And if this kind of clear, no fluff breakdown is helpful to you, even in the slightest bit, please subscribe so you don't miss the next update and you motivate me to keep doing this. Thank you for watching and have a great day.